So back course talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth. We're here with the video I mentioned very recently that we'd be doing at some point, and it's looking at the trophy list for the game. This is already apparently out there. Initially, we're just going to look at like PlayStation Game Sizes tweets. They dropped a tweet about how many trophies there are, how many gold, silver, bronze trophies, whatever. Also mentioned how many chapters there were for the game. That was initially going to be like the plan for the video. Then I just decided to Google search FF7 Rebirth trophies, and like the list is already out there. I will say there are some spoilers here. Nothing too crazy. There's not like, watch Aerith die. Like, here's a trophy. Here's a fucking silver trophy or something, right? It's not a thing. But there are, like, obviously the chapter trophies, and the chapter trophies have, like, titles. And I will say the last one you get for the final chapter of the game is an interesting title for the trophy. When we go down, like, the list, like, the very first silver trophy is a bit of a spoiler. It's not like a story spoiler. It's something we've talked about a lot in videos. The community's been speculating on for a while. We get confirmation of it with the very first silver trophy that we see here. The non-spoiler stuff that we can mention really quickly, the amount of trophies, the amount of chapters for the game. There's 61 trophies, and there's 14 chapters. Putting that stuff aside, we're just going to kind of throw a blanket spoiler warning over the entire video, because we're going to obviously look at all the trophies. And they give us details about the game that we've never known in terms of, mini games or things that you can do in the game that we've never heard about in interviews that maybe we would get from, like, the 20-minute state of play coming up, or the 4-hour gameplay session people got to do recently, or maybe even stuff from, like, the final trailer, right? There's just aspects that we've literally never heard of for the game. So, again, spoiler warning. So we're just going to do this in kind of reverse order, the way the website has it, kind of work our way up the list. Staggering success, deal 300% or more damage to a staggered enemy. I'm pretty sure this was an actual trophy for Remake. Well-rounded, master all weapon abilities and limit breaks, including those found in folios. So for starters, I don't know if we've had confirmation or not that we'd be like relearning weapon abilities. Obviously, it makes sense we did it in Remake. We're probably going to do it in Rebirth, but this confirms that. But also says like learn limit breaks. So I don't know if limit break system is going to be a little bit different in this game, where you can like unlock and learn limit breaks, but also says like ones you find in folios, whatever, I'm assuming that's short for portfolios or something, I don't know. But you can apparently find like weapon abilities and find limit breaks potentially. Kind of interesting. Are you not entertained? Complete all bouts in the Musclehead Coliseum. Hall of Famer, win all Chocobo races. My job here is done. Complete all quests. Grind it out. Attain level 70 with a character. So sort of the takeaways from that one are the return of like a Coliseum, which we kind of expected because I think a lot of people liked the Corneo Coliseum. It's called Musclehead Coliseum, so it's probably related to Dio, so probably, Gold Saucer. Maybe that's what they call it. Instead of the Battle Arena for like the Battle Square, whatever it is, maybe it's just called Musclehead Coliseum now. I don't know. But obviously the level cap finally. Attain a level 70 with a character, right? Like that's something we've been wondering, what was level cap going to be raised to? It's kind of the same as Remake though, if you think about it. The level cap was 50. We're going to be starting around like 20 with our characters when it comes to Rebirth, and then we're going to cap off at 70, which is still 50 levels. Again, technically we didn't start at like level 1 with our characters, right? When it came to remakes, we started like level 6 or whatever with Cloud, and then leveled up to level 7 like right away. So we didn't gain like the full 50 levels, whereas here we're going to gain, pretty close to actually like 50 levels. Here's where things start to get a little bit spicy. 1-star startup, donate 10 items to the treasure trove at Johnny's Seaside Inn. 3-star hotel, donate 30 items to the treasure trove at Johnny's Seaside Inn. Polygonal prize fighter, defeat Sephiroth in 3D brawler. Piano virtuoso, play all 6 Piano Outreach Association songs well enough to receive remuneration, I think is how you say that. Actually, I had to look that word up because I didn't know how to say it and didn't know what it meant, but it pretty much just means like receive money. So play the songs well enough to receive money. But confirmation that Sephiroth will be a part of 3D Brawler, kind of interesting, I guess. He'll probably be like the last character you got to fight or whatever, the strongest character in that. But the startup hotel thing with Johnny, it's called the Seaside Inn or whatever, so this has got to be something with Casa del Sol, and my guess would maybe be the villa that we could buy in OG FF7 that you kind of didn't do anything with. You could sleep there for free to like heal your characters or whatever. It was just kind of a flex to buy for like 30,000 or 300,000 gil, something like that. I don't remember. But maybe this is what they're kind of turning it into, which is what I was kind of hoping for. I'd say Johnny did have like his own place when it came to the original FF7 in Casa del Sol, so they could maybe do like the little Seaside Inn here, but I'm just guessing they're doing something with the villa. 44.7th Assemble, recruit all Midgar 7th Infantry units for the parade in Junon, still in the show, win the prize for outstanding performance in the Junon parade, card royalty, win the Queen's Blood tournament held on board the Shinra 8, which is the cargo ship, of course, critically acclaimed, receive a review of S or higher for your performance and levels at the Gold Saucer. Not really too much to like talk about or break down there or discuss. Those are all just kind of generic, to be expected trophies. Like, do good at the Junon parade, win the tournament on the cargo ship, do good at the levels, play or whatever. Like, those are all just kind of whatever trophies. Moogle Lover, max out your Moogle Emporium merchant rank. So for starters, I did this one by itself just because the ones above it are like a decent chunk of like similar ones, so we're just going to do this one by itself. The Moogle Emporium was like a little kid merchant from Remake that was dressed up like a Moogle in Sector 5 that you could like trade the little Moogle coins for, whatever it was. I don't know if that's confirming that like he's returning or if it's something else entirely. It's hard to speculate exactly what this could be, but the title of the trophy is Moogle Lover. It does make me think of like the little Moogle minigame from OG FF7 where you had to make the Moogles fall in love and shit or whatever. And we do have like the Mog House and stuff from the trailers and like TGS showcase and shit, so maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Director of Regional Intelligence, gather all pieces of world intel in a region. Founder's bonus, obtain a proto-relic in the Grasslands. Fort Condor Commander, obtain a proto-relic in the Junon region. Cactuar Crusher, obtain a proto-relic in the Corel region. Honorary Turk, obtain a proto-relic in the Gungaga region. The Game It Paid Off, obtain a proto-relic in the Cosmo Canyon region. Professional Handler, obtain a proto-relic in the Nebel region. So that's another one where there's not a whole lot to break down from it. I mean, we knew the proto-relics were going to be in the game. They're probably going to be in every region, so that's not really a surprise there, but we do get a little bit of info from this, like kind of confirming maybe all the regions in the game, from like the Grasslands to Nebel, which is to be implied a little bit, but maybe we're not going to be doing a lot of exploring around like the Temple of the Ancients, kind of Forgotten City kind of area, because there's not a proto-relic for that area, which is kind of interesting. We can maybe derive a bit of information from the titles of the trophies, because the Junon proto-relic one is called Fort Condor Commander, so maybe we got to go to like the Fort Condor location to get that proto-relic. There's the Corel one's like Cactuar Crusher, so maybe we got to like fight Cactuars for that. And then the Gungaga one is like Honorary Turk, which is kind of a weird title, because the Turks that we encounter there in the original FF7 are actually Turks. Like, they're not honorary Turks. So I don't know what that is exactly, but maybe that's at least confirming that there will be like Turk-related shit in Gungaga, just like the original FF7. I break for chocobos, repair 3 chocobo stops, expert, excavator, use the chocobo to find 2 treasures buried by rabbits. You work for me now, defeat a summon in battle and obtain its materia. Intelligence aid, gather world intel at 5 separate locations. Intelligence specialist, gather world intel at 50 separate locations. Again, nothing really interesting from all that, so we're just gonna move on. New Blood, raise your Queen Blood's rank, cashing in, complete your search of a cache location. Or cache, some people say cache. So again, with these two, I didn't put them together for any particular reason. It's just that the long list we're going to look at above this is just generic shit you do through a playthrough, like stagger an enemy, win a battle, level up a materia, just that type of shit. We're just going to read all those really quickly. I got this, win a battle, exploitative practices, exploit an enemy's weakness, unfettered friendship, free a bound ally, staggered learning, stagger an enemy, break it down, use a limit break, fledgling summoner, invoke a summon, team player, use a synergy skill, no I in synergy, use a synergy ability, entering new markets, complete a quest, weapons 101, max out a weapon abilities proficiency, materia world, level up an orb of materia. So we're getting pretty close to being done with the trophy list here. The last bit of the bronze trophies are the chapter-related ones, so there's 14 of those left. Then we have a handful of silver trophies, 1 gold trophy, and then the platinum. But now that we're stepping into the chapter-related trophies here, obviously, again, a bit of a spoiler warning, because like the titles of the trophies kind of give you an idea of where we might be in terms of like locations or parts of the OG FF7 story, but also potentially some new shit. So let's just hop right into it. Never Meet Your Heroes, complete Chapter 1. Swampy Situation, complete Chapter 2. Make Mine Back, complete Chapter 3. The President's Commendation, complete Chapter 4. Cryptic Cameo, complete Chapter 5. Fun in the Sun, complete Chapter 6. The Price of Progress, complete Chapter 7. Worth the Wait, complete Chapter 8. Crying Out, complete Chapter 9. Stars Fell From My Eyes, complete Chapter 10. So a lot of those are pretty self-explanatory, like Swampy Situation, obviously Midgar's Zalem, and it's like early Chapter 2, so obviously that makes sense. And then Make Mine Back is, you know, right after that, that's clearly Mithril Mine. But then you get to like some interesting stuff where like the Cryptic Cameo with like Chapter 5 that takes place right after the President's Commendation. So it's probably after the inauguration, right? So there might be a dedicated chapter to like that hooded guy we've seen from the trailer that's kind of overlooking like Rufus Shinra's like inauguration or whatever. Like maybe we get a whole chapter dedicated to that character or something. It's obviously going to be about that person. The standout for me from this particular list is Chapter 7, The Price of Progress, which obviously sounds like the price of freedom is steep, the iconic line for Zack. There's nothing else from this list that insinuates anything playable Zack, but we know that there's going to be a playable Zack from like just what we've seen in some of the trailers and shit. So that just seems like it would maybe imply Zack because of the title. It doesn't have to be, but that's just kind of what I'm going with. And let's hop into these last few here. You're Not Murasaki, complete Chapter 11. Hearts Out, Dukes Up, complete Chapter 12. I'm Here For You, complete Chapter 13. And Chapter 14, Confluence of Worlds. I mean, there's obviously talking points from kind of each of those, but it's the last one, right? Confluence of Worlds. We've already heard Sephiroth say it in the trailer, talking about merging of worlds. That's what Confluence of Worlds means. It's interesting. I know there's a lot of people that don't like the idea of multiple timelines, don't think that multiple timelines are happening, or there's multiple worlds, essentially. It doesn't have to be that. There could be like a, I don't know, like a play on words there where it's like, you know, it's like Zack's dead but he's like in the live stream, but like he's doing something to kind of help the story, help our group, and that's what it can mean, like merging of worlds, like the real world and live stream world kind of come together. Something along those lines, and there's also the possibility that there is multiple timelines, and like we talked about, like, whatever's happening in Zack's timeline, or like Aerith dying in the main timeline, but waking up in Zack's timeline. There's all kinds of possibilities there, of course. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We don't want to like theory craft or talk too much about it. We've talked enough, dude. We've waited Almost 4 years for this game. We're in the month of release. We're not too far away, but we all have our thoughts and opinions, and let's just wait and see what happens with the game. Moving on to the silver trophies, and we're just going to read them all together because it's a short list, but you see it there at the top. Bladesman of Legend, defeat Gilgamesh. Materia Completionist, develop all possible materia together with Chadley. 5-star Hotel, donate 60 items to the treasure trove at Johnny's Seaside Inn of Hardy Stock. Complete all chapters on hard difficulty. Virtually Renowned, complete all of Chadley's combat simulations. So the Gilgamesh trophy is one I was kind of alluding to towards the beginning of the video. I didn't want to come right out and say it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's not really a spoiler. We've seen in the trailer. It kind of had to be Gilgamesh. But for those that wanted to kind of avoid it, I didn't want to like put it towards the beginning of the video. I just wanted to kind of allude to it because we've been kind of talking about it for a while. And now because of this trophy, we have confirmation that Gilgamesh is indeed in FF7 Rebirth. I'm kind of hoping we get something cool with him. It's actually like supposed to be like the same Gilgamesh that's kind of been in all the games because that's what it's supposed to be, I think, with his lore. And I like there to be some sort of allusion to hopefully like Final Fantasy 12 or some shit because we've seen him in that game with the Buster Sword, but he also had like a Squall's Gunblade, like a knockoff of all the weapons. I think he had one of like Zidon's weapons as well, and a couple others. It's pretty cool. So it'd be kind of cool to see like those replica like fake weapons again potentially. I personally like the idea that maybe this is like taking place prior to like the FF12 cameo, where maybe he comes to this world and he's supposed to like see Cloud's Buster Sword, and that's when he like wants a replica of it. As for the last couple trophies here, we have the only gold trophy, 7-star Hotel. Inform Johnny that you've donated all possible items to his treasure trove. And the platinum, of course, the Planet's Hope. Earn all Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trophies. It's kind of interesting how much like Johnny's a part of the trophy list here, because there's like 4 trophies. There's 2 bronze trophies, a silver trophy, and the only gold trophy involving like the donation shit that you're doing for Johnny. So kind of interested what that is exactly. That's it for the trophy list, my guys. That's all 61 trophies for FF7 Rebirth. There's obviously some interesting bits here. There's definitely some things we could talk about and discuss that we might do. Maybe at a later point, we'll see what happens exactly. But yeah, like the main thing is like the Gilgamesh thing, the potential chapter that's maybe teasing Zack, and then of course the confluence of worlds. So that'll be pretty much the video, my dudes. Pass off to you guys what your thoughts on some of the stuff we talked about in the video, some of the chapter related stuff, some of the other details about the game that we never really knew, or at least didn't know up to this point. Anyways, this is the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Work in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, _DaveYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.